Joining me now, Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg. General, welcome back. Good to see you. What do you make of what we've seen over the last 24 hours? There's some say it's provocative, others say it's a real pushback to shut down what could have happened.
Yeah, Shannon, thanks for having me. I thought it was a great move. Look, the preemptive strike was very, very important because if they had launched the strike, the Hezbollah into Israel with thousands of missiles, and they were talking thousands, what would have happened with the loss of lives of Israelis and also the facilities? It would have pushed the Israelis into a doctrine they call Dahiyya. And what Dahiyya is called disproportionate response. And I think what they did, they prevented the next or the third Israeli-Lebanese war, and that is smart. And because of that, I think it's kind of reset the battlefield there. And it's important they did it. I think they did it quite well. The attacks will continue. They're just diminishing the ability of Hezbollah to attack. You know, I have to go back when you think about what's happened there is really the United States hasn't played a major role there in kind of de-escalating the situation because President Biden hasn't done a lot in talking to Netanyahu. Vice President Harris hasn't done very much. I mean, she actually stiffed Netanyahu when he came here into the joint session of Congress when he spoke. And you've got Blinken going over there on his 9th trip, no ceasefire. And you got the National Security Advisor, Jake Sullivan, heading to China instead of going to the Middle East. Now, I know CQ Brown's going to be there, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. But you kind of got to focus in on what's going to happen there and prevent something from happening into the future. And they haven't done it. But the Israelis have done it. So the Israelis have done, actually, is reset deterrence in the region. And I think it's smart. And I think it's put Hezbollah on their back foot. And it's clearly put the Iranians on their back foot, that they haven't done anything at all.
Well, so we do have assets in the region. We've beefed up our presence. This administration keeps publicly saying Israel has every right to defend itself, and we will back them in that. But where do we go from here? Because you mentioned we've still got the threat out there looming from Iran saying we're going to take action when we decide. You've got Hezbollah, and never mind what's going on in Gaza. I mean, Israel is stretched in a lot of different positions.
Yeah, the problem you get is if something like this extends, which it's done, it makes it harder to put back in the box, to make it go, put it into a situation which is sustainable in peace in the region. And that is because, frankly, we kind of backed away and we said, well, there's pox on both sides of the house. Wrong. The way you handle that is you tell the entire region, you tell the world, we are behind the Israelis, full stop. There's a good side and a bad side, and we need to do it. Because we haven't done it, we've created a seam, a gap. And adversaries look for seams and gaps, and they've basically done that. And so they say, okay, we can attack because the United States is not going to come back hard. And I think how you have to reset the fight, you have to tell everybody in the region who we're for and who we're not for. And we really haven't done that. So it's going to take a bit to put it back in the box because Hezbollah is going to keep attacking. Iran's going to keep supporting the attackers in Hezbollah. I think the Hamas fight is virtually over. I think Israelis has kind of solved that problem. Look, when the leader of Hamas has said, if we have peace discussions and we have a ceasefire, I want to make sure that I'm not a target. Sinwar, nope. You started that fight. You're at risk right now. But I think that fight is virtually over. Now the Israelis can pivot to Hezbollah.
Well, and we know those ceasefire negotiations will continue in the coming days in Egypt primarily. General, thank you. Always great to see you.
Thanks, Shannon.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.